So, for those of you who have been following my journey these past couple months, you might have known that I have just recently graduated high school. And as bittersweet of a feeling as it is, I have had so many epiphanies within these past couple weeks after graduating. One of them being how much I realize I've been wasting most of the past summers within my high school years. Because as much as I don't want to admit that I have any high school regrets, one of them that I absolutely cannot deny is that I regret how I spent some of my summers, particularly my freshman and sophomore summers. During those summers, I probably spent 75% of my time indoors playing video games. And actually, now that I think about it, I probably spent 25% of my high school career, that is, including the entire year, not just summer breaks, playing games like Overwatch, Destiny 2, Minecraft, and Fortnite. And now, do not get me wrong, I absolutely love these games. Like, they will always hold a special place in my heart. Those late nights grinding comp in Overwatch, running Destiny 2 dungeons, having deep conversations over Minecraft builds, or farming clips for Fortnite montages were some of the best times of my life. But if I had taken even a fraction of that time and put it towards personal or career goals like off-season sports, lifting weights in the gym, building my personal brand, or strengthening my college application, I would definitely be in a better spot that I am right now. But the past is the past. There is no would've, should've, could've. And in hindsight, I'm actually glad these things turned out the way it did. The lessons I learned and mistakes I made have given me wisdom I wouldn't have gained otherwise. And now I want to share that wisdom with you so you don't fall into the same traps that I did. I want you to be able to set yourself up for even more success than me. And so whether you're currently in high school or just graduated like me, if you're in college, if you're getting your master's, if you're working on building an online business, if you're in your 30s, or even if you're raising a family, I am sure that we could both agree that you only truly see what you could have done better after the fact. That's just how life works, unfortunately. It's not like we can activate some anime Sharingan and perfectly execute every move to reach our ideal life. Unfortunately, that is not possible. However, what is possible is anticipation. What I'm going to talk about is something I picked up from this popular creator, Dan Koe, who, to be honest, fuels about 75% of all my philosophical and business ideas. And his most popular YouTube video, How to Get Ahead of 99% of People in 6 to 12 Months, amassed over 1.6 million views. And the main message of that video is to create what Dan calls an anti-vision. And essentially what an anti-vision is well, the opposite of your ideal vision. Obviously, your ideal vision is going to be something that you want out of life. Whether it's a goal you are trying to reach, a dream you are trying to actualize, it is the life that you want to live. This could be anything ranging from how much money you want to be making, what time do you want to wake up, what time do you want to go to sleep, what foods do you want to eat on a daily basis, who do you want to surround yourself with? Do you want to meet new people? Do you want to spend time with family? Do you want to keep in touch with your high school and college friends? Where do you want to live? Do you want to live in a new city like Miami, New York, Los Angeles? Or do you want to live in a city in a completely different country like London or Rome or Bali, like what all these other online gurus are talking about? The point is, a vision is the lifestyle that you are actively trying to actualize. All of your habits, actions, decisions, virtues, values, morals, mindsets, they all stem from this ideal vision of yours. For example, if your vision is to gain lean muscle, your habits would include things like lifting weights, hitting cardio, and tracking your macros. Decisions would change from partying every night and drinking until you black out to being in bed at 10 p.m. for sharp, optimal recovery. Simply put, everything you do, think, and imagine would point towards that ideal vision of yours. On the other hand, an anti-vision is the opposite. It's being clear about the life you don't want. For example, one anti-vision that I personally have is that I don't want to disappoint my parents, because in my eyes, I am my parents' greatest investment. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. They've never told me, but I hope it is. And the Reason why that is my anti-vision, that I don't want to disappoint my parents, is because they have invested so much time, money, and energy into raising me, more than I could even fathom. And yes, I will admit I am a pretty expensive child. Because of that, I don't want to waste everything they've done for me by lying in bed, doom scrolling TikTok, Instagram Reels, and playing Clash Royale, when I could be working towards something meaningful instead. And this anti-vision is one of my biggest motivators for building my personal brand, learning online business, pursuing higher education, wanting to write a book, fostering relationships, and optimizing my health, all at 17 years old. Just by that example, I hope you can see how powerful an anti-vision can be, because it can become an intrinsic motivator, subconsciously priming your brain to not do anything that pulls you towards the life that you don't want. If you've ever played Destiny 2, you're probably familiar with the respawning restricted mechanic. This feature appears during special stages in missions or dungeons, usually before a boss fight or major encounter, where players can no longer respawn after dying. If you go down, you're either waiting for your teammate to revive you with limited revives, or restarting from the last checkpoint. In this scenario, your anti-vision is simple: don't die. And so in turn, you strategize and play differently to keep you and your teammates alive. Or in Fortnite, when you get full box, your immediate reaction is to drop a stair or cone beneath you. Why? Because you have an anti-vision. You don't want to get fully piece controlled, and definitely not clipped for the other person's montage. And that anti-vision triggers an instant response in your brain. So the moment you're put into a situation that could lead to that unwanted outcome, your mind and body already know how to react and get you out of it. And so when we apply this concept to real life and the idea of locking in this summer, I just want you to formulate an anti-vision of how you don't want your summer to go. This could be things like, I don't want to waste my summer doing nothing meaningful, or I don't want to regret not making the most out of my time, or I don't want to spend the whole summer indoors playing video games, or I don't want to return to school as the exact same person I was last year. And this doesn't just have to apply to summer. You could apply this framework of an anti-vision to any season of your life. For sports seasons, this could be not to have a losing record. For business, this could be not procrastinating and wishing you'd start sooner. And for relationships, this could be not wanting the regret of not talking to someone you like. The point is that you could literally have an anti-vision for anything. And doing so will force your brain to avoid negative things. And once you've applied this anti-vision, it will make navigating your summer and your entire life, for that matter, seem effortless, because you have now just primed your brain to be on the lookout for things that might take you away from your goals. And so now that we have this whole anti-vision concept out of the way, let's move into some more actionable things you could do to really come out of the summer as a completely new person. If I had to summarize everything into one big idea, it would simply just be to start a self-improvement journey. This can be something as simple as hitting the gym 3 to 4 times a week, reading more books, learning a new skill or hobby. And self-improvement doesn't even have to mean the typical personal development habits either. It could also encapsulate spending more quality time with friends and family, or investing in activities that genuinely help you grow. Doing what you love can be productive too, as long as you're not drowning the whole summer in instant gratification. The goal here is that you want to enter summer as your current self and leave summer being a completely evolved version of yourself. It's like how in anime and shows, characters have time skips. In Naruto, it starts when he was a wee kid, and then the series ends when he goes off to train with Jiraiya. And in the next series, Naruto Shippuden, it time skips to when he is like 100 times stronger as a teenager because of all of his off-camera training. Or like in Pokemon, the different evolution stages. Every Pokemon starts as its base form, and as they gain more experience, build skills, and learn new moves, and get stronger, they eventually evolve. You just need to apply these same concepts to your life. As soon as you enter summer, start leveling yourself up. Learn skills, hit the gym, make some money. I think you get the gist of it by now. It's literally like a time skip for your friends. They see you end sophomore year as some overweight potato to seeing you at the start of junior year as like the next Marlon. And so this whole vision creation and self-improvement thing is only the tip of the iceberg. There is a whole career building and lifestyle design side of things that is worth going over. And so to start off, whether you're a high school student, a high school dropout, a high school graduate, a college student, a college dropout, a college graduate, a middle-aged adult, whatever it is you are, you need to be working on at least one meaningful project. That is a non-negotiable. And a meaningful project is simply just something that you are building, something you are actively working on that aligns with what you want out of life. Whether it's making online money, designing an art portfolio, advocating for something you stand for, literally anything that reflects your personal goals out of life. Some examples of meaningful projects could be sculpting your dream physique, coding an app, creating content, starting a clothing brand, building a marketing agency, launching a matcha barista business, learning to become a barber, working on a passion project to put on your college application. Like, you could literally pick anything and devote at least 90% of all your effort and time into building that thing. And the reason why you want to go all in on this one thing or a couple of things is because by giving yourself a project to work on, you prime your brain to start looking for ways it could accumulate the skills and the necessary knowledge to do great in whatever field you decide to pursue. For example, say you wanted to start a clothing brand. Once you make that commitment, your brain will actively look for ways to scale your brand with mock-ups, creative ad ideas, and marketing strategies 24/7. You'll see a viral TikTok that has nothing to do with clothing, but since you're so fixated on finding ways to grow your clothing brand, somehow in some way you'll come up with an idea on how you could make an Instagram reel that advertises for your brand in a funny way based on the video you just watched. And now every time you go shopping, you'll start noticing graphic design patterns on other apparel and clothing stores, and you'll start to keep mental ideas on how you could apply those concepts to your own brand. All of this in turn will lead to you wanting to learn business skills like ads, copywriting, marketing, and web design. Or moving away from the clothing brand example, say you wanted to code an app. You'll start looking for ways to learn and improve your coding skills. You'll start taking ideas from other apps that you like to implement to the one that you're building yourself. Or if you're working out in the gym, not only will you learn the fundamentals of correct form of certain exercises, but you'll learn things like nutrition and proper recovery. Or even working at an internship to put on your college application. You'll get work experience and you'll develop the skills and knowledge related to the field of industry that you're working in. And so the main idea I'm trying to get at here is that when you have something to work on, something to dedicate your time to, you will in turn level up other areas of your life. And so this project isn't just something to make you feel productive. If that were the case, you could just go back to mindlessly consuming online business content without taking action and mentally masturbating yourself. The point of having a project is that it becomes your vehicle for your self-improvement journey that we discussed earlier. It gives you something to do, something to learn from, something to make mistakes on, something to give you the experience to level up from stage 1 to stage 2. Imagine at the first day of school after summer break, when your teacher asks you to share to your class what you did over the summer. Instead of saying, I played video games, ate junk food, and slept in all summer, you could be saying something like, I built a business that made me $3,000 over the summer. I volunteered at my local hospital and gained some work experience, and I benched a plate for the first time. That would feel fucking awesome. And so if I had to summarize this entire video, I would say that the biggest piece of actionable advice would be to create your anti-vision and ideal vision. Choose one meaningful project or goal related to your ideal vision. Go all in on that project and just let it drive your growth and transformation this summer or for any season of your life. And that's it for this video. I know that I'm posting this like damn near at the end of summer. Honestly, I wrote this like a month ago, but totally procrastinated on editing it and recording it. So that's not my bad. But hopefully that doesn't discourage you. If anything, let that show that I'm just as human as you. I make mistakes, I get lazy, I slip up, but that's part of the value in sharing this. Mistakes build wisdom, and I want to make as many mistakes as I can so I could learn from them and share what I learned so you can dodge them for yourself. And so if you want more, check out my Substack, where I kind of have like written versions of these videos. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.